Man like Mark Sullivan, worry yourself. Stay tuned for the thrilling episode. Woo!
A positive mental attitude can clear away all obstacles which stand between you and your major purpose in life.
This is the Snowboard Project featuring Mark Sullivan and the Beat. The Snowboard Project. The Snowboard Project. The Snowboard Project.
Welcome back to the Snowboard Project. I'm Mark Sullivan. What are you doing? What are you doing, Beef? What?
I'm the Beef. Today, I figured just in the true fashion of being a snowboard podcast and our
What is going on over there? What the heck are you doing, Beef?
Episode 14, we have none other than
Smokin J. Yeah, Smokin J Quintin.
Yeah, so I figured we got to get this party started.
Are you like faking taking bong hits over there? Is that what that sound was?
This is the beauty of
audio. Okay,
so,
sorry, I shouldn't have said that. So yeah, you don't even smoke weed, Beef.
No, I don't.
I know, neither do I.
Smokin J.
Okay, this is a good one.
Episode 14.
Yeah.
Smokin J. Talk to me. How do you know Smokin J?
Okay, so I used to compete with Smokin J on the New England Cup Series. I was a competitor growing up, aspiring pro.
On the New England Cup Series.
That's right. The New England, not the old England, New England.
Oh,
right?
New England.
Yeah, okay. So anyhow, like he used to drive this gold hearse, a gold Cadillac hearse around to these events, sleep in the hearse, right? And whatever. But anyhow, I'm riding up the lift with him. I'm like 14, you're trying to suss out the competition. That's how I met Bridges too. So I'm riding up the lift with Smokin J, and literally he pulls a bong out of his inside pocket. This is real. This is real talk. Yeah. So anyhow, he pulls this bong out of his inside pocket and he does a bong hit on the chairlift with us. We're in the juniors division, by the way. We're not even 16 yet because that was like older amateur or whatever, amateur. So we were in the junior division, and he pulls out this bong, does a bong hit, and offers me one. And I was just like in shock. I'd never even seen anything like that before. And I was like, and he looks over and he's like, "Oh, what division are you in?" or whatever. I can't do impression like you can, but like, so anyhow, he blows it out or whatever and offers me one, and I'm like, no. And so I
was curious as to how he got the name Smokin J, but now it's
because he was always smoking weed, basically. He's known for that. But anyhow, he's like, "I'm gonna kick your ass today," and he literally tells me that right after here, like exhaling this bong. But you know what the crazy part was? He kicked my ass that day.
He kicked your ass that day.
Yeah, he was kind of intimidating, and he was like a Kemper Pro rider back in the day.
No way.
Yeah, Kemper Pro, and he ended up getting a pro model on Black Flies. And then he started his own board company, Smokin Snowboards. He's been doing that for like 15, 20 years. And I was actually shocked that like he could like pull off something like that and be like a legitimate businessman. Not that I think he still pretty much parties a little bit. He's a wild guy. He's a great guy too, by the way.
Let me back up just a little bit. After that, that day that he kicked your ass and he offered you weed and that stuff, did you have this like, you were like, I hate Smokin J, or like, that dude's the coolest dude ever?
No, I didn't. And I didn't even start smoking weed then, because it was just like, like it wasn't like a performance enhancing drug. It was just like shocking. I think it was just, I was rattled.
I guess more what I'm asking is, what was your impression of Smokin J after that? And what did you kind of
I thought he was crazy.
You thought he was crazy?
Yeah, I was just like, wow, this guy's crazy. Like who pulls even today, if someone pulled a bong, like a water bong out of the inside pocket of their jacket, right?
Yeah.
And I did a bong hit on a ski lift and then like blew it in your face. I don't know if you blew it in my face, but he definitely did this bong hit and then told me he was going to kick my ass. And so that made quite an impression on me. Yeah.
That's so funny. Well, you have obviously since then visited Smokin J a number of times at his warehouse.
We've been friends since.
You've been friends since.
And so actually this episode is interesting because basically I went to his factory. I was out in Tahoe and I go to his factory and basically record him building a board. So this actually takes you through the whole process of building a snowboard, there was no weed involved, actually. There was no smoking. Jay's actually like a lot more professional. He's cleaned up his act since that chairlift ride at the age of 14, maybe. I think he has a little bit, yeah. But, you know, and he's been to Tailgate, Alaska a couple times. He's still like a genuine snowboarder. He's a person who defines himself as a snowboarder, still loves it. And so I respect Smokin Jay based on the fact that he has given, you know, a big piece of himself to the sport of snowboarding.
And what is the brand of his snowboards?
Smokin Snowboards. His namesake, right? It's named after him. Yeah, so let's check it out, though. Oh, come on, Beeb.
Give me a sec.
Okay, so anyhow, this is like Smokin Jay building a board at his factory in Reno, Nevada. So let's check this out. Smokin Jay building a Smokin Snowboard.
Episode 14. Smokin Jay.
All right, we're here at Smokin Snowboards, and today we're going to make a snowboard. Jay is in production right now for the season. And here is the man himself, Smokin Jay. How you doing, Jay?
Killer, how you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great. Just came down from Bassett's spot, and now I'm going to hang out with you and build a snowboard, I guess.
Sweet.
Or watch you do it anyway.
Yeah,
right?
perfect. I'm excited.
Can I ask you questions, or how much concentration does it take to build a snowboard, or can you multitask?
I'm down to multitask.
Okay, we'll see. So if you see the serial number on this board, don't buy it. He's multitasking right now. Right? No, I'm just kidding. No, Jay's been doing this for years. When did you start anyway? Like building Smokin
This is our
Snowboards?
25th year making boards. So yeah, it's been 25 seasons. We started, and it's been a long time now. So yeah, we're getting old here. So
Yeah. So where did you start making boards? And how did you start?
Well, we started down at Huntington Beach. I started at Focus Skateboards. Yeah, here, let me.
Oh yeah, get ready to make some boards. We'll see the preparation, the full preparation. First, the vans go on the feet. Step one. And I think Jay always wears Vans, so that's kind of a force of habit.
Yeah.
It's like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood over here with Smokin Jay.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. You get to come in on the weekend. Nobody's in, so I can give you some undivided attention, show you the program, and explain the process.
Cool, yeah. I'm
Ready to
looking
go.
forward to this. Okay, so Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, the vans are on the feet. Let's get things started right here at Smokin Snowboards. So what's the first step here? Rubber gloves, it looks like.
Yeah. Just, a lot of our stuff's coated, our edges and the bases, and everything has to laminate. We have a 3-year warranty. So first thing you want to do is make sure no oil from your hands get on the board.
Mm-hmm.
And
And I may be explaining some of these steps to our listeners who don't get the viewing pleasure of actually seeing you do it. 2 separate products. Anyhow, so first, removing a base. It's already got the metal edges attached, and that's kind of a separate process. So the first step is he pulls the base and edge assembly off of a shelf here, and then he blows any dust or debris off of that. And then what did you just spray on there? What was that?
yeah, this is just something to help it stay on.
Okay, now you put it on a
There's
sheet
a lot
of metal.
of that's like that for the new snowboard makers out there. I remember when I didn't know how to make boards with edges all the way around. We used to put duct tape on the corners, and Sean Martin over at Donic Snowboards helped me out when I was a kid.
Nice.
Remember, that was a big thing I learned that year, how to make a board with edges all the way around.
Okay, so
Now I'm taking the core. It's got everything's prepped. It's got the tip and tail. It's got our hemp stringers on there. It's got our UHMW sidewall. Right now it's just spraying off everything. Bring it over, and
so it looks like you already have inserts in there.
yeah, the inserts are in there. Something that the guys can prep. Everything gets set up here so that the layup guy can make boards, all the different parts, which would be the base, the core, and the top sheet. So now that thing's ready to go.
So you just blew some blue flame with like a butane torch. What was
that's
that
something
for?
special. It's going to make the board not delaminate. We have a 3-year warranty at Smokin. We do it early in the process, and then if you do it 30 minutes before, we do a bunch of things with alcohol wipes to make our stuff a little bit stronger than a traditional board out there. That's going to make the board not delaminate.
Right.
And
so no grease, no debris, totally, totally clean materials. That's essential for a long-lasting board, correct?
Absolutely, all the best materials, and then everything put in the process properly. And
What are you doing here?
We're just mixing some epoxy here.
So a 2-part epoxy mixture, and that's going to be the glue for the board.
Yeah, this is a specially formulated epoxy that we've been developing, and it has rubber in it, and it's one of the key parts of our boards. It helps overall dampness in the board as well. There's different epoxies that have different elasticity. There's different toughnesses, and there's different shears. And we've formulated this one to our liking, and that's one of the reasons that we have a less than 1%.
How long
return
did it
rate.
take you to come up with this exact kind of mixture of resin and hardener and the materials?
Over the years, at the beginning, we tried a couple different epoxies, and every 3 years, we test different epoxies out there to see if our process is the strongest, and if there's anything else out there that is good. But it's taken 20 years to come up with this epoxy, basically. And we came up with it about 4 years ago, and it's pretty exciting.
So how long is the assembly from like where you already started through throwing it in the press anyway?
It takes about 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay, so right now Jay is spreading. He poured like a bead of epoxy down the middle of the board quite a bit, and now he's using some kind of, it looks like almost like a base scraper to spread that epoxy to saturate the entire P-Tex and edge and make sure that epoxy kind of touches every part of that board. And it's just a base, or it's just a P-Tex base on a metal sheet, and then just putting epoxy on it and on the edges, and just making sure that he's rubbing right now the edges.
Yeah, while lamination, you want to make sure every part is wet and saturated. And then the epoxy actually at the end of everything forms one solid piece. And it's pretty bomber if you use all the right materials.
Okay, so first layer of epoxy, P-Tex, 1 layer of epoxy. Next, what are you going to add?
This is dampening. This is something to make the boards not shatter. It also helps with the shear of the board. Different materials in snowboards, as you can imagine, when you're snowboarding, it gets cold. It's really cold out there, and there's metal, and then there's fiberglass above the metal, and they both want to flex a little differently. So there's a natural shear that they want to have. So this right here is a thermoplastic that we have that's special. This is one of the products that isn't made in America.
How would you describe that material? It's rubber?
It's a thermoplastic that it changes form. Yeah, it's sort of it's rubbery, but what it is it's a rubber material that it reacts with the epoxy when the epoxy kicks at about 180 degrees. And
Okay, so it changes its state a little bit.
Yeah, it makes so the fiberglass bonds to one side of it, and the metal bonds to the other. It makes little bumpers so it doesn't delaminate.
Cool, and so that is getting laid. There's a strip of this rubberized material that goes all the way along the edge and really all around the tip and the tail as well?
Yeah,
all the way around the edge.
The way that we do it here, we have 3 different layers of this in our formula, and one of them goes around all of the metal, and the next one goes around the plastic, the next one goes on top of the plastic.
Okay.
So all the weakest points of the boards we cover with dampening, and it definitely helps everything. It's a bumper, and it's a thermoplastic that's special. There's only a couple companies that make it in the world. And,
Cool. So it's hard to find.
Yeah. We source it out through Japan and get it in Austria.
Okay. And how long has it taken you to develop this specific
Recipe?
Yeah.
It's always changing every year. Honestly, it starts with our wood floors, and from the wood floor to the epoxy formula to the fiberglass that you use, the different formulas of different series of boards.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about like the pre-assembled parts of the board, the P-Tex with the edges. How does that happen? How do you put that together?
Yeah, so over in the back we've got templates that are CNC'd out, and then This is a 52, so we're going to get 52 glass right here.
So there's a sheet of white fiberglass, biaxial, triaxial. What kind of glass is this?
This is a quasi-isotropic glass.
That's a big word.
Yeah, it's got 4 axes in it.
Did you learn that in college?
Yeah, I did. I've been going to some composites trade shows lately so that I can learn a little bit more about the industry and find out some of the different products that are available out there, so I can have some of the best boards. So instead of going to the snowboard trade shows lately, I've been going to, I went to one down in Long Beach, and it was cool. So I learned about just different formulations and meeting different people that are doing different things in the composites world. Because I think that's a place that's something in snowboarding right now that's where we're going to come up is with some new materials. That are lighter and stronger. And
so when you go to one of these trade shows, do you ask for samples to build prototype boards?
I go around and check different stuff. Yeah, I do ask for samples for sure of different stuff if we're interested.
Okay.
And just generally, when you go out and socialize and hang out with these people, you learn more about the industry and how it works. Uh-huh. And it's important because it's a big part of snowboarding is composites. And before, I just would go through a one company that would they'd have 3 different products, and now I can now I have a company that's in Florida that nobody in snowboarding uses, making a fiberglass for us.
Cool. And he's using that same scraper again to looks like he's saturating it, like really wetting it so you can almost see through that fiberglass material. And now here comes the core. Now, how critical is it to get that thing in exactly the right position?
It's got to be perfect.
It's got to be perfect. So do you sit here and mess with it a little bit just to get it in the right spot?
Yeah, we've got line-up marks on it and everything, and different devices to hold everything in place.
So he just laid that on top of that wetted down sheet of fiberglass, and now he put some more epoxy on that core, just the bare wood of the core, and spreading it around all over that wood to make sure it looks wet, basically. And over the inserts right there, you heard that. To make sure they're not going anywhere. So what are the typical things that you could mess up when you're assembling a board like this?
Honestly, we stopped doing things that mess up a few years back. We just make everything so it goes in easy.
Right.
But our blend rate is less than 1 in 200 nowadays.
Okay.
So the things that you can mess up though is just sort of human error. Would be just forgetting to put stuff in, forgetting to saturate it properly, not mixing everything completely right, and just not taking the time and trying to put a board in with a spot that's not wet, But
right.
People that care about it will anybody the guys that we only have 6 guys that work here, so everybody cares about it, and we just we all share what we do instead of having a bunch of guys in the factory. We'll all do prep work together. Like tomorrow when I come in here, there'll be another guy, and we'll make a bunch of boards together, him and I, so that I don't have to do all this stuff. He'll wet all the glass out, and we'll make boards twice as fast as this.
So basically, 2 guys working as a team, and that makes the process smoother or faster.
Instead of having 2 layup guys that were separate, well, we have we tried all different ways of doing things over the years, and we found that this way, having a team like this, instead of having 10 guys in here, having 6 guys all working together and looking over each other's work and feeding it off each other's energy, it's a big people deal because there's a lot of labor involved in making snowboards. That's why a lot of companies aren't making them in North America.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Beav here. If you're enjoying what you're listening to, please consider donating at patreon.com/the Snowboard Project. You too can help us create an independent voice in snowboard media. We're not sponsored by anyone except you. Patreon.com/the Snowboard Project.
And how many boards can like a team of 2 guys crank out in a shift, or like an 8-hour day?
40 boards or so if we want.
2 guys can do 40 boards.
20 or 40, something like that.
Wow.
Depending on if it's prepped up.
Okay, and what's the part that you really need the most concentration for? Is it putting the edges on? Is it saturating?
Yeah, bending the edges is one of the hardest things at the company to do. Every board is hand bent. We've got a new edge technology called Quattro Grip, and just having every one of those release points in the perfect spot is key, you know.
So now saturating another layer, saturating the top of the wood now
Yeah,
with epoxy and more rubber foil, more of this rubber material. Thermoplastic, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm used to rubber foil, or I've seen rubber foil anyway.
Yeah, it's the same thing. There's rubber foil, and you get that over in Austria. This is just a little bit. This is a thermoplastic from. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's proprietary too. This is, there's different dampnesses for different brands,
Right.
My competitors, like the guys at Ever Summer and over the type, they use the stuff in Austria, and we use this stuff from Japan.
Yeah.
I'm sure they know about this stuff as
And
well.
do you make boards for other, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you make boards for other people?
We make boards for a couple companies that are our friends. We didn't want to be an OEM company, so we don't per se make boards for other companies.
Right, you're not looking for that.
Yeah. I'm from Vermont, and I moved out here when I was a kid, and the GBP kids remind me of, a lot of my youth, and I love those guys.
Yeah, Sponzo's a cool cat. I know Sponzo.
Yeah. The whole crew is.
What was that layer you just put down there? You're covering that up.
That's another layer of glass that we put in the area right on the top of the board. We've never had one board break on the bottom of a smoking board because all fiberglass does. Fiberglass it either stretches or it compresses. Everything on the bottom, of course, stretches, and fiberglass is really good at stretching, so it never really breaks. On the top of the board, you'll notice that on the outside of the binding, from your binding to your contact area, is like 90% of where snowboards break, besides impact damage around the perimeter of the board. Right. So we put an extra layer in there with 2 more axes on it because we're using a triaxle on the top and we're using a quasi-isotropic on the base. So instead of using a quasi on the top, we add another bias glass in there, which it just gives it 2 more axes to put the energy in and it doesn't break.
This is the most smart I've ever heard you talk, Jay.
Cool, yeah, honestly.
But yeah, it just goes to show, right, that you really care about this process and making a quality product. And sure, you cut loose.
Serious in my older age here. And,
yeah.
There's been companies that have been trying to buy us, and they have told us that we could be a top 10 snowboard brand. I've been out. This year we're going to deliver really early, and we're concentrating on North America, and we're one of the only companies that can make a snowboard and have it shipped out within a week in North America. So we're in a pretty cool position, and I've set up the company to try to be an addition to the snowboard community by sponsoring kids and doing different events.
But there's a lot more to it though than making boards. I mean, you have to do sales, you have to have customer service if something breaks, you have to. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. There's marketing involved.
Team riders, team managers. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's definitely over the years you find your way and your path and just try to every year do it a little bit better.
What was the hardest part to learn? Because you kind of started from scratch, right?
Back in the day, it's a lot different than now because back then nobody was sharing information. So it was. I remember crying myself to sleep trying to figure out how to get bubbles out of the top, and all it was something like there was an air vacuum trap, and I needed to put paper on the top of the plastic to avoid the vacuum that was happening. Just stuff that you learn over the years. Now I know that right away.
Right.
But, just it's a lot different back then because we had to learn how to do it, and then nowadays you can look it up on the internet and you see everybody else's recipe. Years ago, nobody would just let you see this. I mean, you can go in and let the other guys regulate a lot of the stuff that you put out there.
Yeah, I mean, just being from the old school, it used to be no cameras in the factories,
Yeah. I remember when I rode for Mervyn and they had a room in the back and I wasn't supposed to go. And of course, the first room I walked into by mistake was...
Totally by mistake, huh?
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay, so how many different, you said every company has a little bit different formula.
Yeah.
How different are they though? How similar, how different are these different formulas?
I don't go and check out. I look a little bit on the internet. Over the years, I hear how people do their stuff. But it's like a chef, Everybody's got a recipe and different boards ride differently. And there's different things they're looking to do, We are looking to make a really high-end, light, strong, performance-oriented board. I'm trying to make the best snowboard in the world that you can reasonably make with the best materials and be high performance, not just twin tip. We make everything from directional boards to some of the best flip boards in the world. And we just want to be known for having the highest quality, best product out there. If you get a Smokin board, you have a 3-year warranty, is legit, and our boards ride really well. So
I've ridden a Smokin board. I
take the other board out. Do the top seat, make sure we get the right one there.
So what you're hearing right now is the snowboard press opening. And what is that? Where's the air in there?
Behind me there's a press, and then there's a mold inside the press. This is what we call a cassette that you lay the snowboard in. And then you put the cassette inside the mold, which is inside the press. So you were just up at Mike Ostria's. Mikey welded these in 2011. He did that one. He did this one in 2012 for us, back when he rode for us. And everything else is handmade by me, basically. You know, we CNC all this stuff, put it together, and this is our whole system that enables us to make a lot of different boards without having a bunch of super expensive tooling, and be a small company and be agile the way we are. Yeah. And we're set up to do that on purpose so that we can contribute positively to snowboarding and make great boards.
Well, it's pretty cool. I'm here on a Sunday, and you're here working, making boards. One's coming out of the press, another one's going back in. So is that kind of the idea? Is that you constantly keep the press filled? With one or two boards?
You put one in, it takes about 40 minutes in the press. You take one in, and you put it in our most popular, which is our combo rocker. And then we'll put another one in the rocker mold, put one in the flat. Here's our camber area. So we basically, you put one in, make another one, put it in the mold, and then when you're finished making one board, the other one's done is our system.
Right.
So this comes over.
So now we're opening up. There's two sheets of metal sandwiching the now laminated board. And this thing is hot still. Can I touch the top?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's really hot.
I gotta move quick here.
Yeah. Keep moving.
I'm actually changing. That is a 56. We're switching it up to a 52. So I come over here. Secrets or whatever. This is stuff that not a lot of people have.
Right. Custom adjustable mold.
Yeah.
For the tip of
Ours
the tail.
is I can do it every quarter inch. This is a new one. We did all new molds this year. Everything here is new. I've worked around the clock for the past a lot of months here. A lot of nights, a lot of weekends, just making all this stuff where I need it to be, because before I was more on the road and not in making boards, and other people were taking over. And now I'm getting back and trying to make some of these things.
How much of your effort is like in the making of the boards versus like the sales, the service, all that kind of stuff?
I do, I'm the sales manager. We have a team manager. We've got sales reps around the country, and we have distributors around the world. So I have, I spearhead all those guys, and I come to work a half day in the factory every day. And right now I'm trying to get ahead, so I come in on the weekends to do a couple special projects. We want to make the front area of the factory nicer, and we want to constantly, it's a lot of extra work. You got to keep your eye on the ball, stay ahead on materials, to make sure that all of our materials are ordered properly. And,
right, because there's a lot of pieces coming together to make a snowboard. You have to have a base, edges, glue, epoxy, and you have to have it all there at the right time.
You need to know how to do math and do payroll and pay your taxes. And
how did you ever figure that stuff out, Jay?
Yeah, just years of doing it.
Yeah.
Years of doing it, getting better each year, trying to do better every day when you wake up, right?
So what are some of the mistakes that you made that you don't make anymore?
Yeah, we try to not make mistakes twice.
Yeah.
But we've made, you name it, we've made a mistake. I'm a kid that just moved out here as a snowboarder, and I ended up, running a pretty sick snowboard brand. And it's 25 years later, and I've made every mistake in the book. I just try to do better every day. And I'm excited that riding lately, I've been able to ride a lot, and I'm feeling healthy, which is the main thing. And I'm excited to make snowboards.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Would you say like growing things organically could be likened a lot to like growing things organically?
Yeah. Like, what do you have in mind? Like tomatoes?
Because we're trying to
Let's
grow
say, for instance, tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
so
like I grow.
Tomatoes need sunlight. And
Like
they
if you buy,
need
like, yes.
some water, and they
Right.
need some soil.
Right. No, I have friends who would like, they would actually like buy these lights and they would grow tomatoes
Right.
indoors organically.
Okay. So can we liken the lights and our fake sunlight to
to Patreon
subscribers.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yes, you will be our metal halide lights.
You too can be our grow lights. So why don't you help us grow? If you're interested in helping us grow, go to patreon.com/the Snowboard Project and help us grow to be a bigger independent voice in snowboarding. We want to bring you an organic experience that is grass fed and
Grass fed?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right.
Oh
That
yeah,
was-
and by the way, also subscribe, rate, review on iTunes, on Google Podcasts, on any of our podcasting platforms. That's also going to help us grow, help get the word out, and also tell your friends. Right? If you enjoy the podcast, please tell your friends, let your snowboarding buddies know.
But also let your friends that like to grow tomatoes know too. Just saying.
I take my time to go snowboard. I got a week at Baker. I got so lucky this year. Bass showed me around. I just, I did a Northwest tour the past couple of years. This year, hit it great. Had a great springtime. Had a good early season with Boreal. I ride a lot at night. I've been riding a lot lately, so I'm stoked.
Cool.
I'm so lucky.
So what are you doing right here? You hear that scraping noise? You're scraping the metal sheet?
Yeah, just cleaning out the cassette. These have a semi-permanent mold release on them, so I can scrape it off with a plastic scraper. It's a lot faster. There's different, that's something that I learned too this year. It enables us to make 2 snowboards more every day. So,
2 snowboards more with the same amount of time.
Yeah. Just because all I have to do is that. Yeah, and we get less blems because we don't put a paste on there.
There was a different process in the past, and this is a more efficient process
I don't
now.
need to go into all that
That's
detail.
part of the learning experience, right?
Okay, so this board's in. We want it to go in and then turn the heat on. It's already warm from the last one, but we ramp the heat up and then we cool it down before. This one, I turn that off and it's about ready to come out. We'll leave it in the mold till the next board goes in. And that's a board, sort of the end of my day here, so I'm not going to make another one. But that's one going in.
So just walk us through the back and the finishing process of how that works,
Absolutely.
Because you can explain, I don't know if you really want to cut one out on a bandsaw right now, and I wouldn't be able to hear you talk anyway.
I'll show you. We do everything from start to finish here at Smokin. We do everything. We bring our own boards, we do our own graphics. This way.
Okay.
This is the receiving area
Uh-huh.
and our dirty area. So here's all the new templates. These are all 2019. This is months of work. Both sides of this are all the new boards. They all say these all have Quattro grip, which is our new side cut. It's got 4 release points right between the bindings, and every one of these was redesigned this year. There's another side to it too. So,
Right, and so that's how you cut out the shape of the core or the base?
That goes out. That goes. Yes. This is the template of our base minus the edge. So we'll put that and we'll cut it out and then we'll put the edge on there.
And how does each one get bent? Each one of the edges gets one custom depending on the shape?
We've got 40 different series of boards. We used to have everything computer done, but now, we're doing up to 50, maybe 100 of one model. So our guys are just really good and they just do everything by hand now. So everything comes in. This is special wood that has been ordered from years past that's genetically altered, some of the last stuff in the world. I bought it all up. And we mix it with a couple different species of aspen. We try to use as little paulownia as possible, just because it's a nice light wood, but we like the dampness of our formula, so that's our our recipe. These are some bases right here that the guys will get cut out. Here's some GBP, a bunch of
The
Smokin.
stacks, 6 inches of bases just stacked
Yeah,
up.
there's 50 of them or 60 of them there.
All right.
So
And you can see there's it looks like pieces of wood all get glued together to make a stack vertically, and then that gets cut down into the individual core.
Yeah, we make a block and then we resaw it out, and it comes out like this. So it'll come out
Right.
more like this, and it's a rectangle. And we take it into the CNC room over here.
Okay.
Which there's not a light in here. So you can,
It's all right.
yeah, see, we keep this place pretty reasonably clean. So
Look, 1, 2, 3 computers, 3 CNC machines.
yeah, and these are all run off Google Drive, so that our designer can, whenever we design something, it all synchronizes, and we can get right on here. And this is all set up. I made all these. Me and my crew made these over the past couple of years. They're all compatible, so that you can do any file of the company. It's set up so that so instead of touching buttons on the top, we set it all up. This is handmade from scratch. Like we ordered this as a kit. And yeah, it's exciting.
Do all three run at once, or are you running one at a time? Can one person kind of set up 3 or 4, whatever, three of them, and get them all going?
Over the years, you develop your process. With 2, we found the guy had a bunch, the production manager would have a bunch of free time. So what we thought is having 3 of these things going is the optimum way to be efficient.
Right. So one guy stands in this room and is shuffling the materials on and off off these tables.
Yeah, everything from core profiling, which is making the flex pattern, to cutting out the core, to doing the sidewalls in here. We also drag knife with this, which is a razor blade that drags on here to die cut out the base logos. Usually when we do that, it doesn't work as well for bases. We're looking to make the highest quality products. So yeah, there's different processes that we do in here that are really cool. This is really efficient and fast, and we can produce rather quick. These are all sidewalls right here, green ones with some yellows on the top. This is bases and top sheets just before they get put into the mix.
So after, when do the graphics get applied? First, or like after you've done some processes to it?
Well, one of the first things that we do is print out the graphic. We do a sublimated graphic, so it's a water process because we live here. I'm here a lot, and I want everything to be as healthy as possible. That's why we have a lot of airflow in here and whatnot. But yeah, we definitely we sublimate, and it's a water ink process, heat transfer that's really eco-friendly, and it's also really high quality. But yeah, that's one of the prep important things that has to be done. So so then the cores get done there, then they get brought over here to the area where they apply the edges and bend them.
And you got a ton of clamps just sitting here. What do the clamps do?
They'll put the clamps in place once the edge is bent, and they put crazy glue around it basically. So see, this is a straight edge here. It'll get bent around here. There'll be a seam over here, not in the middle of the front.
So they have to hand bend each board.
Yes.
How long does that take?
There's companies in China that tell me they can do it in 5 minutes. My guys, if they do it in 20 or 30 minutes,
So that's one of the hardest parts of the whole job.
What I care about is quality first. This is one of the hardest parts of the job, and our guys are some of the best in the world to do this.
Cool.
For sure.
Quite a salesman, Jay. What happened?
Look at this right here. It's pretty crazy. I didn't tell him you guys are coming. This is how he leaves the station.
Right, it's clean and organized.
Yeah. Now that I'm in here working a lot more, everything is a lot more clean and organized because that's how we're running the factory.
Right. So if someone wanted to get a job working at Smokin, what are the prerequisites to get a job here?
We're not really hiring right now, but
or at a snowboard factory in general.
Yeah. Okay. So, but, we only want a few guys, because I have to teach all the guys the whole
Takes
process.
time out of your ability.
What you look for is somebody that's passionate, somebody that that loves snowboarding.
Does everyone snowboard who works here?
Yes, everybody for sure snowboards that works here. In years past, there's different situations where a few guys didn't, but now it's completely different.
Cool. So rider built.
Guys, for sure.
And I think that probably contributes to the passion and the product and the final result.
So this is where we treat the sidewalls, nice clean area.
And you're flame treating them? Or rubbing them with some kind of juice?
We rub with alcohol first. Don't even tell anybody the secret.
Okay, there's secrets involved.
Yeah, that makes it a lot stronger than.
I don't want to know your secrets. I just
learned in the past 5 years, so it's pretty cool.
Nice. Well, I just appreciate you showing us around.
You have to know how to do that. You have to know. There's a way.
Oh, look at this. Here's a
GBP. So this is a board of 52 GBP 5.7. That'll be the flex pattern on the board. So we'll match that 5.7 up over here with the sidewall. That's 5.7 for whatever color that goes in there. These are all, there's 5.0, 5.3, 5.7 right there.
And so the guy knows how to kind of get all the pieces assembled.
Yeah, we want everything. Here's a split board right here that we'll be putting together.
Oh, cool. How long have you been making split boards?
We've been making split boards like 8 years now.
Oh.
Yeah. Last year, back when the magazines were around, we just won the top 6 best split board in the Trans World test that they had, and then
Yep.
Okay, so here's some boards that are just getting ready, some collaborations and some next year stuff, getting ready to be bagged up.
Do you have anything you can show the fans? Anything misty, so to speak?
This is pretty cool. Some of the new Hosoi stuff. Not a lot of people know about the Hosoi board that we're doing.
So you made a collaboration.
Yeah, Christian Hosoi, he was one of my mentors when I was a kid, and I ended up being friends with him. And our first investor at Smokin was from Focus Skateboards, Uncle Dave. He made the free Christian Hosoi stickers, and when all these shapes are coming around, I decided to to ask them if we could do a collaboration on the Hammerhead.
What's going on with this board?
So this is a
funky.
Yeah, it's a Hammerhead. This is a 52 with a really wide waist, and it's a short fatty. It's one of the new boards out there now that everybody's into. You know, I'm into it. You know, I'm 6'4" and I ride a 52. It's got a really long effective edge. It's really wide. They're fun. We also make them in a regular waist with 56, 59, and 62. But this is sort of an advanced board, and this is the one that I lean towards. So I like.
Hey, what's up? If you like what you're hearing here on the Snowboard Project, please consider donating to us on patreon.com/the Snowboard Project. Every week you get to hear me and Mark.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, Mark's there.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Patreon.com/the Snowboard Project. Do it.
Patreon.com/the Snowboard Project.
I was really trying to be serious there, Sullivan.
Oh, sorry.
So do you sign each board as it goes out the door?
I've got a little sticker that says "Professionally Handmade by Smokin J." I made this year.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, or not even I've got one. Yeah. I'll give you one.
Cool.
But yeah, man. So check it out back here. If you want to come check.
So basically, the only thing left on the board is to run it over a base grinder.
Yeah, cut it out, run it over a base grinder,
Wax
which is
it.
a huge part. We take pride in the finish at Smokin. Our finishing guys that's the hardest job besides edging. It's definitely the finishing process. We want to make sure that our board spaces are the best in the industry. So yeah, this is something that I built too. These are vacuum chambers, and it's all eco-friendly, water-based sublimation, heat transfer.
And it's in reverse.
Yeah. It's a mirror image.
Who's that?
Yeah, that's it looks like
Some douchebag.
Some politician.
Yeah.
Yeah, so look at check that one out. We made a board for
Oh wow,
free.
this is the Area 2-for-1 board.
Yeah,
and this is Mikey doing some of his projects here, milling wood, building a ski resort in his backyard, all that kind of stuff.
Yep, here's the office.
Go upstairs, here's a little office area. And looks like you got some silk screening going on.
Yep,
Hey, buddy.
T-shirts.
And we got
LeBron James.
LeBron. How you doing?
And
How you
this
doing?
is our printer. And this is where I watch what's going on in the factory from up here. Supervise, chaperone.
You open the window and yell at people?
Yeah, no. I actually set it up so that the CNC room, back when we first moved in here, I could operate the CNC room from up here. I'd see if it was moving or not. I could go down and stop it back when we started. But nowadays, somebody else is running that.
Cool.
Yeah, this is our badass printer. We're super excited. More expensive than our cars. But it does the job we want everything to be.
So yeah, a lot of specialized equipment. But people are making boards in their garages too. You can do that, but maybe not the same
that's where I
quality or
started.
durability.
Yeah, you can. It depends. You can just do lesser amounts of high quality stuff. It depends on your process.
Right.
I can take this stuff into a basement and make a fantastic board. It depends on the person and the chef and the recipe, right?
Yeah. How long would it take for someone to learn how to make a board?
It's like riding a snow machine, right?
Right.
Now Romanak kills it in 1 year. Me, it might take 20 years. Depends on your learning curve. Depends on your passion. Depends on how much
Precision.
drive every day that you wake up. What drives you? But yeah, you can learn it quicker. You can learn it the hard way, like I did. It's been 25 years. I'm just figuring it out.
That's cool. Well, thank you for the tour. We just made a snowboard here at the Smokin Snowboards factory, and we're right here in America, Sparks, Nevada. Just 30 minutes from Lake Tahoe and like Squaw Valley.
Yeah.
What's your favorite mountain?
My favorite place to ride is the backcountry and the Sonora Pass. Honestly, I don't tell anybody, but whatever. Sonora, it's 10,000 feet.
You just told everyone, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. Sonora's the shit. But I mean, you got to know how to get there, and you can get hurt. So be careful if you go back there. Make sure you bring your Abbey gear.
Cool. Right on, Jay. Thanks for the tour.
Cool.
On behalf of Mark Sullivan and the Beeve, thanks for listening to the Snowboard Project. Remember, ride fast, take chances, dream big, and take action. And for God's sake, don't forget to support advertising-free snowboarding media at patreon.com. The Snowboard Project. The Snowboard Project. The Snowboard Project.